Today, we're working with a 2010 Toyota Camry. We're going to work on some motor mounts. Motor mounts are here. We just got them. This one and this one are for down by the wheels. This one's on the front one if I remember right. And this one sits up here on the top. There's the top one. And I've got it backwards, of course, and we got a broken ground wire. We'll fix that. I just pressure washed all this. There's the front motor mount I just showed you. And then each of those sides are like there and there, but from the sides, right here, there's that one right here. And these bolts go downward like that. That on each side. So other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and tear out these old ones. They got 3 bolts or 2 bolts from the bottom and 1 bolt on the top, and follow along and we'll keep going. All right, now that we're back on it, I broke the top loose, and there's 3 bottom bolts which access from a couple holes down here. And there's these little rubber grommets that pop out of those holes. You'll know right where to find them. There's 2 of them there, and 1 of them on the tip right here. 1, 2, and 3 back there. And don't forget your top bolt. 19 mil, by the way, 19 mil, and the lower ones are all 17. And what I did to give myself a little more slack, I also popped a 17 mil bolt out of the front motor mount so that the motor could lift up a little higher with a little less tension. Wouldn't fight me so bad. So follow along, I'll keep going. All right, here's our driver's side motor mount. We jacked the motor up with a little bit of tension on the pan itself. Be careful, a block of wood is always suggested. But this went really simple. So I've got all the bottom 3 bolts out and the upper bolt off, and it just barely cleared that. I lift that, pop it out. Make sure you got a match to it, and this one looks perfect. Only thing I noticed is that we're gonna need a bolt for the top of that, and I'm gonna look in the kit. There's got to be something here, so we're gonna go ahead and pop that in place in those 3 holes. Little line-up dowels on the back, just like the previous one, but this one looks like a different piece. Oh, I'm gonna look into this, see if we got some other bolts, but now that one's free and in, we can also probably get to the access of the front one as well at the same time. And these do bolt from the bottom side. All right, we have found our studs. What I'm gonna do, the short side goes down into the motor mount, and the angled chafed, whatever you want to call it. Hold on here. Okay, the top angle, you can see it there, goes upward. So I'm going to put just a dab of Loctite on the very bottom of this so we can get it in, and this will always stay in place. All right, now we are now working on the front. Right under the front bumper here, slightly to the driver's. Crawl under here, bear with me. Okay. There's 3 bolts holding this thing on. I just slightly pulled the thing back here. They're all 15 mil. That one, and the one in the frame right there. And then on top of this unit is 1 mount that holds it down. I'm slowly undoing those, and let me find that front mount real quick. You can see what it looks like off. Here's that front mount, and it's off. So it's got the same 3 bolts on the bottom, 1 bolt on top, 1 bolt on top. All right, we ran into a little bad luck. This bracket right here, it's at the top of the motor mount, the front motor mount of the engine. It's got 14 mil, and then down here, right here, kind of under my fingers, another 14 mil. If I'm not wrong, 3 bolts hold that to the block. So we're gonna crack that off real quick so I've got the space to lift that mount out and put the new one in. All right, we just created ourselves a lot of room. Like I said, I'll mount that from the block, slide it over, and this will literally go right up and out now. Right up and out. I'm gonna keep this in position so I can match up the other one. If you'll notice, the side's kind of shorter and this side's kind of shorter. Lines up right here on the rubber grommet setup or bushing, whatever. We're gonna go ahead and slide this back in the same position. Three holes, so they all go, and it did not. This thing's kind of holding us off to the side here. Bear with me. There we go. We just got her set. Everything's locked in. I'm gonna maybe put one loose bolt in the bottom, and the rest of them I kind of leave alone. I do want them on the driver's side. Put a bolt and line that up so it stays in place when I go to jack this side of the motor up. So we'll continue on. Bear with me. All right, we got our mount back on for the top of the motor mount. Seems actually pretty close with a hole lining up. So once we drop it down, it'll probably line right up, I'm sure. We're gonna go ahead and drop this one back down, get a couple bolts in it. So when I jack the other side up, it'll hold it, angle the other side up only, not both. I simply do a little wiggling on these. I left all the bottom bolts out of this, so you can still wiggle it around a little bit. Won't be too crazy, but as you wiggle it, you'll notice it just dropped all the way down. So we're gonna put our hardware back on this side, put this side together. I'm leaving the front one loose until we get the other side done, which will give us a play to work around with the other side. So driver's side's basically done. Center's basically done, the front one. We got the two on the passenger side, an upper and a lower that's just like this. All right, now on to the upper passenger side. These are 14 mil, and it'd be that one and that one. And we're gonna fix that ground while we're at it. They stare at me in the face, man. Anyway, yeah. Crack this loose. It's really hard to do by yourself, I figured out. Okay, so there's one of the two. Now we're gonna get that one, and then this thing should simply just jiggle out. You know, I'm gonna invest in the third arm. I'm not worried about snap-on tools. I just need an extra hand, you know? You know what I'm saying? Here we go. All right, trying to get this side one out right now. And hold the camera. I'm good at already. I got 3 screen protectors on. Rubber bands on every corner. Drop this thing 47 times every day. All right, time to make more room. This little reservoir bottle for the radiator. I just pulled it out. The cap is actually the hose to this, so that's why you don't see it in there. Anyway, we got one 10mm bolt down there. I'm gonna crack that out real quick. All right, well, I pulled those couple bolts to the ABS unit, and pardon me, that was a 12mm bolt. And there is 2 more, one at my fingertip, which I just pulled out, and one down there at my fingertip. So these are all 3 12 mils, and that'll give us just enough room to slide that over and get the other motor mount bolt out. All right, one more thing I just noticed. These are both 14 mil. This bolt would not come all the way out even with this loose, but it did enable me to lift this up and work with getting it out. So we're all loose. We'll pull these 2. Set them up here. We got this bracket, and then the mount came right out, but the shim fell on the ground. So there we be. And this shim goes on the side. So, there you go. I'm going to try to set my phone. You guys can see what I'm doing. Oh. Okay. Alright, here we go. Okay, we're going to put, like I said, the shim goes on the motor side. I'm going to put this all back together. That bolt through there, just prep it up, ready to drop in. Slide that in the back. Pull the ABS over for a second. Slide everything into place. And there we go. Feels like everything's threading in fine. So we're going to thread this in by hand, make sure everything goes good first. Drop in our two tops. 14 mils. Everything on this piece is 14 mil. I like to leave all the bolts loose while I'm doing it so they all line up. And I'm going to leave this whole thing loose, honestly, because I got to jack this side of the motor up still. So actually, I might leave this off actually till last. So we'll let that be and move on to the lower mount, which we're going to have to jack the motor way up for. Alright, we are on the passenger side. I don't like passengers. So we're going to leave this one loose. No, just kidding. Okay, we got everything loose, speaking of loose. I did have to take a pry bar and kind of wiggle it down a little bit between the mount and this to get it loose. This one seems a little tighter than the other side, but we got her. So anyway, there's this side, and we're going to replace it with the match right there, and then we put the stud in last. I'll resume in a second. Alright, just dropped our new one in. I'm going to start off with getting the stud in here while everything's loose and it can still move around a little bit so we can get a straight shot without cross-threading our top motor mount bolt. Here's our new motor mount bolt. This kit came with them. Like I like to do is the slightest bit of Loctite on the bottom. Just enough to hold it a little tighter than what the top will. And of course it's not going to line up perfect. So if you look at it, you can kind of see what's going on. This one don't like us, obviously. So, like I said, you know, wiggle her around. You got a straight shot. Get your thread started by hand. Wiggle it, it'll go. Okay, that one's started now. Okay, we got a couple threads in. I'm going to take a pair of small channel locks, tighten it in to the collar of it. The shaft right there. You can see the edge at my fingernail tip. We'll tighten it up. I'm going to leave the bottom ones loose till the pressure from the motor is pushing down on it. Right now it's sitting on a jack, just slightly pushing up on the pan. You don't want to dent the pan, so be careful. I'm going to block of wood. I've got a rubber piece on mine, so we're good to go. Alright, now that we got our hardware back on, motor mount in, 19 mil bolt. The bottom three are 17s. All three, we dropped the pressure back off the jack. And the last one you want to set is set the top one. So this passenger side top, and I'll fix my wire I keep looking at. Oh, give me a second. I'll snap a last photo of what this looks like together, and hopefully you're good to go on your own. All right, our last piece, we just got all of our 14s, that one, that one, that one, and that one tight. And remounted the ABS unit, 12 mil, right by the alternator face, 12 mil there and 12 mil next to it. There you go. I'm gonna put the wheels and tires back on it, wrap it up. Thanks for watching.